Addiction. Addiction is a complex, multifaceted issue that affects many aspects of an individual's life, particularly their mental health. For men, the effects of addiction can be especially severe, as they often face unique societal pressures, health disparities, and challenges in accessing appropriate care. This issue can lead to a range of mental health problems, including depression, anxiety, and increased risk of suicide. To fully understand how addiction affects men's mental health, we need to explore the types of addiction, their prevalence, and the impact on mental health across different age ranges, with a focus on statistics from the UK and the USA. Types of addiction affecting men's mental health. Substance use disorders, SUDs. These include addictions to alcohol, drugs, such as opioids, cocaine and marijuana, and tobacco. SUDs are particularly prevalent among men and can lead to mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and paranoia. Long-term substance abuse can also lead to cognitive impairments and increase the risk of psychiatric disorders. Behavioral addictions. These include addictions to gambling, gaming, or compulsive behaviors like shopping or sex. These types of addictions may not have the same immediate physical health consequences as substance use, but they can cause significant emotional distress and lead to anxiety, depression, and interpersonal issues. Dual diagnosis. Men with addiction often suffer from dual diagnoses, where they have both an addiction and a co-occurring mental health disorder such as depression, anxiety, or post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Dual diagnoses complicate the treatment process and worsen mental health outcomes. Mental health effects of addiction on men. Addiction can severely affect men's mental health in several ways. Increased risk of depression and anxiety. Chronic addiction is a significant risk factor for depression and anxiety. Substance abuse, in particular, can alter brain chemistry, impairing the brain's ability to regulate emotions and contributing to feelings of hopelessness or excessive worry. The shame and stigma of addiction can also exacerbate these feelings, making it more difficult for men to seek help. Cognitive impairment. Prolonged addiction, particularly to substances like alcohol, opioids, and methamphetamines, can lead to cognitive decline. This can include memory loss, difficulty concentrating, and impaired decision-making abilities. Cognitive impairment can compound mental health issues, making it harder for men to manage everyday stressors. Increased risk of suicide. Men with addiction are at a higher risk of suicidal thoughts and behaviors. The isolation that often accompanies addiction, combined with underlying mental health issues, increases the likelihood of self-harm or suicide. Studies show that men are more likely to die by suicide, and addiction significantly increases this risk. Social isolation and relationship issues. Addiction often leads to strained relationships with family, friends, and colleagues. Men who struggle with addiction may withdraw from social circles, experience conflict with loved ones, or lose their jobs, all of which can intensify feelings of depression and anxiety. Prevalence of addiction and mental health disorders among men. Statistics for the UK. In the UK, addiction to substances like alcohol, drugs, and tobacco is a major concern for men's health, with mental health problems often co-occurring. Alcohol addiction. According to the National Health Service, NHS, men are more likely to drink alcohol in harmful amounts than women. In 2020, it was estimated that around 25% of men aged 16 to 64 in the UK were drinking alcohol at harmful levels. Mental health effects. Alcohol abuse is strongly associated with mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. A study by the Alcohol Change UK found that 56% of people with alcohol dependence also experienced mental health disorders, including depression and anxiety. Mental health services report that men are less likely than women to seek help for alcohol-related problems, which compounds the mental health risks. Drug addiction. The UK Drug Strategy, 2020, reports that nearly 3.2 million people aged 16 to 59 used illicit drugs in the past year. Men are over twice as likely as women to report using illicit substances. Opioid addiction has been rising, and opioid use disorder is highly correlated with depression and anxiety. Men aged 25-34 have the highest rates of opioid misuse in the UK. Mental health and age ranges. In the UK, young men aged 16 to 24 are most vulnerable to substance abuse, with nearly 11% of this age group reporting regular use of illicit drugs. Older men, especially those aged 45-54, are more likely to experience alcohol-related health problems, including mental health issues, with 1 in 5 men in this age group reporting regular binge drinking. Statistics for the USA. In the USA, the prevalence of addiction among men is high, and the mental health consequences are significant. The National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, and other agencies provide detailed statistics on the impact of addiction on men's mental health. Substance use disorders, SUDs. According to the National Epidemiologic Survey on Alcohol and Related Conditions, NESARC, in 2019, approximately 1% of men aged 18 and older had a substance use disorder in the past year. Alcohol is the most common substance abused, with about 10.3% of men reporting alcohol use disorder in 2019. Cocaine, marijuana, and prescription opioids are also prevalent in male populations, with men making up 60-70% of those with opioid use disorder. Mental health issues. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, NIMH, men are more likely to experience substance use disorders, and this often leads to co-occurring mental health conditions like depression, 13.8% of men, and anxiety disorders, 10.2% of men. Men with addiction issues are particularly vulnerable to suicide. The CDC reports that men account for 79% of suicide deaths in the USA, and many of these cases are linked to addiction. Age ranges affected. Young men, 18 to 34. This age group has the highest prevalence of illicit drug use and alcohol abuse, with 30% of men in this range reporting heavy drinking. Middle-aged men, 35 to 54. This age group is more likely to suffer from alcohol-related mental health disorders. About 20% of men in this range report chronic alcohol use, and a significant portion experiences depression and anxiety. Older men, 55 plus. This group is more likely to suffer from addiction to prescription medications and experience isolation and depression. Older men are also at higher risk for alcohol use disorder, with mental health problems often exacerbating their addiction. Conclusion. Addiction has a profound impact on men's mental health, contributing to a wide range of issues including depression, anxiety, cognitive impairment, and increased suicide risk. Addiction is prevalent across all age groups, though younger men, 18 to 34, are more likely to abuse illicit substances, while older men, 35-54, are more likely to struggle with alcohol dependence. The statistics from both the UK and the USA indicate a significant public health issue that requires urgent attention. Addressing addiction in men requires a holistic approach that includes early intervention, better mental health support, and reducing the stigma around seeking help. The intersection of addiction and mental health highlights the need for comprehensive treatment options, including counseling, therapy, and support systems to help men recover and regain control of their lives. Check out the links in the description for further useful information on this subject.